Cody, a few years later, but here you go to take on the Riders at Mosaic Stadium. How are you feeling ahead of this one?
Yeah, I'm excited. Just excited to get my first start for the year and play with a bunch of guys that I got a lot of respect for. But if this was my first year coming out of Sask playing in Mosaic, it might mean a little bit different. But I'm with 5 teams out of 9-team league. Everybody's public enemy number one. So it's going to be a little bit special. I've been telling people all week, Sask has a soft spot in my heart. My son was born here as the first team to, give me my franchise start, my first opportunity. So I'll always have a soft spot in my heart, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try any harder. Every game, it doesn't matter who's lining up across from us. I'm going to try as hard as we can to win the football game.
I was wondering if the fact that it's been a few years now that there's maybe not as much animosity or anything towards the club.
No, yeah, there's been a lot of change with them as well, right? And so it's just different team, different club since I've been here. I think what helps too is going off to Montreal, having success there, winning a cup. I was able to do some things that I wish I was able to do here for this fan base who deserves a great cup. Just how rabid they are and how excited they are about football. But overall, if it like I said, if it was, and I was in a time machine, it was first year out of Sask, it might have meant a little bit more. But anytime you take the field, you want to represent the name on the front and the name on the back of your jersey. And so I want to do everything I can to help this team try and win a football game.
Was it tough to miss those games, though, against the Riders?
Yeah, it was always weird. And I just felt like that's just so CFL. It's just so CFL for that to happen. And then here we are, 2 years, 3 years removed, getting my first start of the year against SAS. So it's crazy how God works. He's got a master plan, and I'm just part of that master plan.
What do you expect from the fan base and the reception when you take the field?
That'll be a good question. Last time they did a pretty cool tribute for me when I was here with Montreal, so that obviously was warming for me. But there'll be some Fajardo jersey, I think, in the stands, and I think there'll be some people wearing Fajardo jerseys that will be booing me, which will be pretty interesting. But it's always a great atmosphere, and I've been on the winning side of it, and I've been in that green. Now I'm in a different green now, and so I just have a lot of good memories in that stadium, and there's a lot of nostalgia just being here, and a lot of things that my family was a part of, and like I said, my son being here. So just excited for the opportunity to play some football with these guys.
C.J Reavis said it's going to be friendly, but there's going to be some trash talk with you. Did you expect that from some of the former guys?
Oh yeah, I know CJ. He's running around hitting everybody and everything that moves. So at the end of the day, when you're in between the sidelines and in between the 60 minutes, it's football and it's a physical game. But afterwards, gonna love those guys up, and gonna look forward just catching up with those guys and how life's been. But the most important thing is trying to be competitive as a football team and trying to take it to the fourth quarter and give ourselves a chance to win late. This is a really talented Riders team, a 5-1 team, atop of the standings. They do a lot of great things offensively, defensively, special teams. They do what they do best in defense, and that's just run their stuff and say that we're going to execute higher level than the offense. And so we really got to be on our P's and Q's. We got to be poised in the noise, and we got to find a way just to play penalty-free on offense, to play turnover-free on offense. Don't give that great offense more opportunities to score points. So I told the guys going into this, our goal is to end every drive with a kick, whether that's a punt, a field goal, or a PAT. If we end every drive with a kick, we should have ourselves a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter.
Do you expect to be booed by the fans?
Absolutely. No, I think there might be a couple cheers, but at the end of the day, I'm fully expecting some boos.
Do you look back on your time with the Riders and then compare it to where you are now in terms of your evolution in the league, just overall? Like, those were kind of your younger days. Now you're a veteran who has a cup, and I guess what I'm getting at is, would you tell younger Cody, hey, do this, this, and this, don't do this, this, and this? Or how do you look at it?
Yeah, that's a great point. I would tell younger Cody, just see through the storm. There was some great days. There were some dark days with my time here, but I wanted nothing more than to win a cup for this fan base. And like I said, the first franchise to kind of give me the franchise tag. But it's crazy when you work so hard for something and then you come up empty. It just leaves that empty feeling in your heart. And then being able to fulfill that in Montreal with Coach Moss, it was something really special to me. But I'll say this about my time in Sask. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about being a professional quarterback. I learned a lot about being the head of a franchise, the face of a franchise, getting media put in your face after losing a tough game or winning a game, and just how to carry yourself. So I've learned a lot of experience being here, and I don't think my career trajectory of this wouldn't have been what it was if it wasn't for my time here in Saskatchewan.
When you come back to the city, do you feel a little bit nostalgic? Not just going back to the stadium, but where you live and your favorite spots to eat and all those kinds of things?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I lived just down the road here in downtown in 2019 in a little one-bedroom apartment. And then I moved out by the lake the following years. And so just landing here, I just was texting my wife. I was like, this is our son's hometown, right? And we got a lot of great memories here. And so, like you said, it's just nostalgic. And before the game plays, you can think about those things, but at the end of the day, when you get out there, it's football, and we're going to go out there and try and win a football game. But I said this at the beginning of the interview. There's a soft spot in my heart for Sask, but I want nothing more than to beat them in their own home stadium tomorrow night.
Will your wife be at the game?
She will not be at the game, no.
And then in terms of how this week went for you, Mark Killam told us that he sat you guys down on day A, told you what the plan was going to be. When that news was shared, then what was the week like for you?
Yeah, it was. He just told us we're going to have an open competition. We're going to split reps. And for me, who was used to getting about 2 reps a day, I was happy because I was able to get some reps. Also, I was telling the people and everyone this week, the only time I got reps with the ones since training camp, like I didn't get any reps with the ones. The only time I got reps was in live game action. So any reps I got with the ones, I was very thankful for those because I feel like there's a lot timing wise. I feel like there's a lot I need to learn about those guys. Keon's a guy I've spent 2 years with, so I'm probably the most comfortable with him, but learning the other receivers, learning our running backs, learning how our offensive line operates, all those reps are beneficial. And so it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. You're going to want every single rep throughout the week just because you go into games with 100, 120 plays and you probably run about 80 to 100 plays during the week. So there's going to be some plays that I'm going to run tomorrow night that I didn't get a live rep on, but that's where I'm going to lean on my experience. That's where I'm going to lean on my veteranship and just being in the league and very similar offense to what I was in with Coach Moss. And so hopefully when the bullets are flying, I can feel comfortable with not taking some of those live reps during the week.
That's what I want to ask you. Jordan Maximic is kind of under that moss tree. Was it easy for you to pick up the offense? Was there much different terminology or concepts? How much was it the same, or how much is it different?
Yeah, I think CFL-wise, concepts are all very similar, but the terminology does change, and it changed enough to piss me off because I had to learn pretty much and felt like a rookie in training camp, just trying to learn some new things, something that I called a certain concept for, my 5 years with Coach Moss. And then all of a sudden, even to this day, I'm talking with Coach McSimic and I keep calling it the old concept. And he's like, you mean this, right? And I was like, oh yeah, of course. But sometimes you just fall back on those terminologies, but I feel really good. And I think probably one of the most beneficial things for me starting the year as a backup and transitioning into this role was I had time to continue to just learn this offense and continue to meticulously go through it and see what I like, carve in and tell Coach McSimic kind of what I like. And that, I think that was the hardest thing going into this week was none of us really knew what was going to play out. So it wasn't like I got to sit in his office and say, hey, I like this, I like that, I like this. And Trey and I are two completely different quarterbacks, the way that we see the game, the way that we play the game. So just talking in our meetings today, he's like, I'm just going to call the game the way I see it. And I was like, sometimes that's the best thing for a quarterback. Just you call the play and I'm just going to try and execute it the best I can. But yeah, that's the only thing that makes it a little bit more difficult with an offense you're just not used to and an offense coordinator that's not used to me as a starting quarterback.
Trevor Harris referenced today his year, I forget what it was, where all the starting quarterback seats were full. He was relegated to backup duty, but he's back on the starter role. He's not even a Grey Cup winning quarterback. You were that, and that happened to you this off season. What was that like for you to go through, considering the resume that you had, one of the greatest plays ever made in Grey Cup lore to Tyson Philpott, and all of a sudden you're a backup? Yeah,
it's tough when in the offseason that was tough. Here I was coming off a Grey Cup MVP. We were the best team in the league record wise. But I understood the decision. I understood this is business. I had some experience to draw back on because getting kind of excommunicated here from Sask and going to Montreal, I kind of was able to lean on that a little bit. But one of the first guys I called in the offseason was Trevor because I know that he dealt with it with going to Montreal and VA and him and that kind of plan, taking that prove-it contract and going out and waiting his turn. So Trevor and I have a great relationship. There's a lot of things we've talked over in the past. Kids, I've talked about, just was insurance things, having a kid in the U.S. because our first son was born here in Canada and it was a little bit different. Then I went to the U.S. and I was like, who can I call? Well, Trevor has gone through it. He's got 4 now, I think. So, we have a great relationship, and we spent some good years together early on in our careers, which we established that relationship, and then just enjoyed competing against each other. And everybody wants to talk about both of our completion percentages and, play that 1A, 1B thing. And so I take a lot of things after Trevor's game and the way he throws the ball, the way he throws it accurately, the way he makes decisions. So growing up and in this league and just watching him, there's a lot of things that I took from his game and implemented into my game. So we have a great relationship, and it'll be fun to compete against him tomorrow night.
What was his advice to you, Neil?
His advice was the CFL. You know how the CFL goes. Everything happens so fast. To take the weeks that you're not starting as a blessing because your body's not getting hit, and this is the best I've felt going into week 6 in the last 7 years. So that's a positive. But he's been around the game. He's been in every situation possible. He's been a starter. He's been a backup. He's been a third stringer. He's been a practice squad guy trying to prove it, right? And I feel like same thing for my story. I've been very similar in the way that we've both kind of have these prove it years, and then we become the guy, and then it's a prove it again, and then become the guy. And so there's just a lot of things that are similar about our journeys. He's done a lot longer than I have, but I got a lot of respect for Trevor, and like I said, it'll be very fun to compete against him tomorrow night.
When you were going through it with Montreal, how did you sort of pinpoint Edmonton as a place like, I would like to go there?
They called me and said you're getting traded to Edmonton, so that kind of helps when the decision's made for you. But yeah, I was actually in Disneyland with my family. I got a call from Coach Danny Machocha, and he said, "Hey, we're gonna trade you to Edmonton." I said, "All right, sounds good." And then I got on the phone with Ed, and I got a great relationship with Ed because we spent some time together in BC, and he was a guy who brought me from Toronto to BC. He obviously saw something in me that he liked, so we had a great relationship. But yeah, it's a little bit easier when the decision's made for you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you guys
Thanks so much, Cody.
All right, thanks, guys.